We begin with this prospect of potentially the United States hitting Iran. And then what certain independent reporting and critics argue is a kind of unserious or at times even circus or reality show atmosphere surrounding one of the most important decisions a president could make. And while Donald Trump has certainly changed the artifice and the traditions of national leadership in the presidency in ways that sometimes his supporters love and ways other people criticize, this is distinct when we talk about whether or not we would strike in that region or do things that make it more likely that we have a U.S.-involved war or regional war. Now, today, the White House made some news by saying that Donald Trump, the president, is mulling whether to strike Iran, and he will make that decision within 2 weeks. Now, on the ground, we know that overnight Iran has done a bombing campaign that hit this Israeli hospital, injuring over 240 people. You can see the visuals there, Israel's health ministry discussing the damage. Israel, though, also continuing its attacks, and it started what it said was a necessary strike to deal with alleged nuclear capabilities, but it started the most recent volleys back and forth. Meantime, Trump is also clashing with some of his own cabinet officials, the people he picked to do the intelligence and military planning, but in the sort of freewheeling atmosphere of this administration, remember, where 1 month Elon Musk is a super employee kind of overseeing the whole cabinet, the next month he's gone. Well, likewise, some of the people that Trump said were kind of going to run things this year may not be. The Washington Post reporting that neither Intelligence Chief Gabbard nor Pentagon Chief Hegseth are really in starring roles right now on the Inner Circle advisors on issues that, of course, involve intelligence and the entire military overseen by Hegseth. Quote, nobody is talking to Hegseth, says one official. And by the way, as a procedural matter, it's concerning. If you don't want war with Iran, maybe you think it's a positive because you do want someone like him iced out. Now, I should tell you the Pentagon is objecting to this entire set of reporting. They say it's completely false. Trump also reportedly influenced by the more hawkish or bellicose on-air content in Fox News, according to one report in Rolling Stone, where hosts, guests, and commentators are effusively pro-war and pro-regime change in their messaging. Bigger picture, though, and this has always been an interesting thing, for all of the criticism of Donald Trump's desire to flex with military power, to use the military in the United States, something we've been covering over the last 2 weeks, and generally to play what he calls a kind of tough or macho card, he is someone who, like some of the other more recent figures in the conservative space, like Tucker Carlson, has vocally been opposed to what they view as the Bush-era expansive kind of over-involved role in 2 wars in the Middle East. And so you have that, but then you still have the Fox programming and other loud voices that want to be sort of automatically, quote, tough, even if it means risking a new regional war that very few people seem to want. And so what we're witnessing in real time on a big, high-stakes issue is an Iran debate that is roiling MAGA.
The Bush-era doctrine of regime change wars in the Middle East is foolish. It's costly.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat.
The same crowded Fox all weekend has been sounding the war toxins.
I'm a warmonger because I think that these 7th century primitive barbarians with 21st century technology should be removed.
No, this is not America first. War is not America first.
I'm not one that wants to get involved in things. I'm not. But we have no choice. They are our enemy.
And so you can see with some of the newer voices how it goes back and forth. And by the way, if you believe in open and free debate, First Amendment rights, some of the things that Donald Trump, when it comes to other stories, is, of course, against, and he's not been supporting everyone's dissent, certainly not in colleges. But if you believe in that kind of thing, it is positive, and shout out to any of the platforms that are supporting a freewheeling open debate. Sometimes in the run-up to military action, let alone war, we haven't had that in this country. So whether it's a red or MAGA platform or not, shout out to us having this debate. On the other hand, there are critics who say that amidst the debate, Donald Trump isn't being super serious, and that he seems to want to milk the drama of it, to tease, quote unquote, what'll come in the next week or two, which is, of course, not how you really prepare for battle usually, because you don't want to give Iran a heads up if you are going to decide this in 13 days and do something. And some argue it almost has taken on, predictably, an almost reality TV show style approaching war.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it.
I have ideas as to what to do.
I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. The next week is going to be very big.
I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due.
Maybe less than a week. Maybe less.
I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president.
The president said, you don't know what he's going to do. Fact check, true. The larger question tonight is, does he know what he's going to do? And who are the serious voices and experts, hopefully helping counsel a decision that will affect all of us? I want to bring in David Rothkopf, who has foreign policy experience, now writes for the Daily Beast. He worked with the Clinton White House. He hosts, Deep State Radio. And we consider you a serious guy, serious person. The president is the way he is. I want to be as fair as possible. His rhetorical style or milking a moment doesn't mean that it will automatically be bad policy, but there certainly seems to be something haphazard so far. What are you keeping your eye on right now?
Well, I think, you're right to call the debate on TV freewheeling, and that's fine. Good to have a freewheeling reality show. Bad to have a freewheeling White House at a moment of incredible danger for the world. And that's where we are. That's what I'm focused on. I think the word freewheeling is actually a little bit charitable. What you have is chaos and dysfunction in the White House right now. Trump was against action. When the Israelis struck, the first thing that happened was Marco Rubio issued a statement saying, Then when the next morning it looked like it was good, Trump was like, well, maybe this was all part of my four-dimensional chess plan. Then he started getting pushback, and he's like, well, maybe we won't, maybe we will. And then it's like, you don't know what I'm going to do. But the clear message to the world is he doesn't know what he's going to do. Yeah. And, you're right. You're right. Should Pete Hegseth be involved in this? No. And I think he's not involved because he's a nitwit. If you saw him in front of the Congress this week, he was flummoxed by the most basic questions. Tulsi Gabbard is being kept out of it because she's taken a kind of strongly anti-war stance, and he doesn't want that.